Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report, and I'm here with my partner Linda because she always can throw something unique into the conversation that I hope you can find interesting. But I want to talk today about email that I just received, and it was from two people I've talked about before that heard my radio shows rebroadcast on Up North NY, and they live in West Virginia, and they came up here fishing, and they had a memorable trip a year ago, and so they've kept in touch ever since. Because one of the things he told me, he says, you know, when we're here in West Virginia and we tell about the day that we had fishing with your buddy Alex on one of our rivers for muskies, nobody believes us, but they ended up catching over 15 muskies in one day fishing with Alex, and people around the country can't believe there's fishing of that nature any place in the world, but it does exist up here. And they're coming back in October. It's the first chance any of us are going to get to take them out this summer because we've been so busy with the tournaments and everything. But you know, our fishing up here is that unique, and it does draw people, and people are telling the stories that only fishermen can tell about the monster that got away or the monster they caught. And in today's world, at least we've got photos that we can show people to back up some of our unbelievable claims. But anyway, Linda, I wanted to bring you into this because Jim did mention this. He says, I hear you and Linda on the radio every day. And he said, one of the things that, he says, I got to tell you that Linda brings a perspective that I think a lot of us men might never have. And it makes you both a good team. And I was anxious to show you that, Linda, because people do listen and you do see things in a different way.
Perhaps that's because I don't have the gift for fishing. I mean, I've been with you a while now where I study, I listen, I observe, but I'm more detached than being the person on the boat, in the water, waiting or casting. And of course, in another show, I shared the fact that I needed two conservation officers to help me learn how to cast, and at the end of the day, they gave up and gave me a rod because they just couldn't help. And so my interest comes from the data collection interest, but I'm not on the water, so I don't share that desire.
Well, the other things is you hear us say things
Yes.
that are terms and sort of cliches that mean nothing. And you ask me, what does that mean? And, you know, you're learning that way by listening to others. But
Absolutely. Yes.
So you have a different perspective than a lot of people might. And I think a lot of people that listen to the radio and they're going to work and they hear me come on, and here I am talking about fishing, and that can be a very specific sport. And they might not share all the knowledge about the sport. So you can bring sort of explanations of things that you find surprising or that you don't know about.
Yes.
And you figure maybe they don't either.
Yes, and perhaps that's one of the reasons that when we do sports shows in the spring, I come at it from a completely different perspective. And many of the folks who come into the booth, they may not fish, but they're interested in what else is there when we come up to the Meissner area. When we come to the North Country, what is there? So I can share with them all of the other great things that I've seen and heard and witnessed, which has nothing to do with fishing whatsoever, but might provide them with a quality type of vacation that would be unique and different.
And you always tell them the truth. You never try to tell them a story or try to sell them on anything.
No.
And I think people appreciate that. And I just want to reflect on one thing right now. We're sitting at a gazebo at the Meissner intake, and it's all covered in. And as we're sitting here, I just watched a red squirrel run over to the corner, go up on its haunches, and look at us sitting here thinking, what in the world are you doing? But this is something, if people come out here to the intake, now that red squirrel's sitting on top of the garbage can, waiting to go in there and make that his new home,
I remember this lab.
where everything is all self-contained in there for him. But anyway, it's a part of being in nature, and it's a part of
Yes.
what we talk about all the time. Well, Linda, we'll wrap this up. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner and Linda with the North Country Fishing